Today is going to be a little bit more of a quicker live. I got a little bit of a quick fix to do. Which is this thing. I got to fix this. Now, this goes in here like that. And of course it broke off because factory welds are terrible. So I'm gonna get in here and tack it together. Now I gotta be careful, I got a little bearing in here that I don't wanna ruin. So I have to be careful with my heat. I thought this thing could come out, but I could be completely wrong on that. Yeah, I'm wrong on that. Okay, so that's gonna have to go in there. I'm gonna take a grinder. Now at first I thought that this was steel, but I might be wrong on that. Oh yeah, it's steel. Okay. This is, that's aluminum. Okay, so we got that. I'll clean this up, make this fit real nice. Now, of course, this being the Stickman Fab YouTube channel, I am going to stick weld this. However, I'm going to have to be very careful about it. Like, very careful, because I don't want to melt the aluminum underneath. So I'm going to have to be very, very careful about that. Fitty. Okay. I'm going to use my 6013 here. And let's fire this thing up. I think I can use this. I'm always doing something interesting. Whether people like it or not, well, it's up to them, not up to me. Nope, stick welding. This is Stickman Fab. I do TIG welding, but I stick weld it just because Stickman Fab, and this is a lot quicker and easier. So I gotta take this piece broke off. It's gonna sit in here like that. And I'm gonna have to level everything up and square it up, so we're gonna do the best we can with what we got. And if I remember right, I believe this went this way? Really hard to tell anymore. Did it go this way? Pretty sure it went this way. All right, well, thanks for checking in. So 6013, 60 amps. We get a tack in it. It would help to put the ground on it. That did not go nearly as well as I would have hoped. Barely got struck. So let's get some 6011 on here. That's gonna help me get it stuck a little better. And then if I have to cover it up with something, I'll cover it up with something. So 6013 is a real good sheet metal rod, really good for thin stuff, but as far as getting it started, it can be a pain in the ass because a lot of times the slag gets right in the way. I bet I could probably break this right off. So we're gonna start off with some 6011. I'm going to start at a lower amperage, about 45, 50 amps. Oh, nice. Happy for you, Gavin. That's a nice place to be. The job's going good. I'm happy to be home right now, but I'm going to be leaving here again soon to do a project. So the home time has been much less, but still a lot of fun regardless. Let's get this tack in here. Come on now. That's a better tack. That's a better tack. It's light. Okay. That's gonna be better there. Holy Jesus. It's too far. Okay, so it's still tilting that way a little bit. So I'm going to weld up on this side. Hopefully not melt everything down. I'm going to turn it up a bit so I can go fast. Moving back to PA this weekend. Awesome. You found a spot? Let that cool down a little bit. As it cools down, it's getting tighter. Am I new at this? No, I've been doing this for a long time. Oh, nice. Good. I'm glad that's working out for you. There we go. Okay, we'll let it cool down for a while, see what it looks like once I clean it up. That should be that though. Pretty simple. But my point still stands. You can pretty much stick weld just about anything. Yeah, I turned the hot start up a little bit. The hot start was still a little cold. Yeah, that's the whole point of this channel. You can stick weld pretty much anything. Just gotta have the right filler metal. Now I'm gonna put a wire brush on it. Yeah. Can't really fit that in there though. Of course not. Can't get it in there. Well, the first rod, 6011. 6011 is a little easier to use on this thinner stuff, and I can turn the amperage way down, and I can run DC negative. I was gonna run some 7018 or 6013. The problem is that the sheer amount of slag that it gives off, I can't start it cold enough to get it running. Plus, I don't need the strength of 7018 or 6013 for something like this. So it's just not necessary to fool around with. That should be pretty good though. That's gonna hold up. I'll be honest with you, I don't have one. I have a little one somewhere. If you can, if you want. The one thing about stick welding is that it's not the prettiest in the world. But here. Whoops. I can't get it to focus. So in here, on this side, I came in here, and then I came up from the side, and then came down that way because I had to pull it. I had to pull it over a little bit because it was out of square. This side, I just ran across, but it's kind of hard to see. I'll clean it up a little bit, but all I needed to do was just attach this to this. It doesn't hold a lot of weight, and that way it can be used again. Doesn't have to be anything. I thought about TIG welding it, but I really just didn't feel like setting everything up, to be honest with you. And plus, I like to show people that stick welding is not that hard. I'm not going to sit here and lay dimes like it's a TIG weld, that's for sure, but it'll get the job done. It'll get the job done well. What I do need to do, I need to get some more stainless rod because I got an exhaust build I'm gonna have to do here soon once I get more time. And then that's about it. I guess I can screw around for a little bit if you guys want to see something. How long have I been practicing? God, I'd almost take that as an insult. I've been welding for about 15 years. Pipe welder. I feel like running a couple beads just for fun. Got some practice stuff in there that I can run some passes on. Why not? Just for a little bit. Turn it down. So I got 2 pieces of 14 gauge sheet metal I can play on for a little bit. do a little T-joint right here. There we go. Of course, what I do, I blew right through. Yeah, that's quite all right. It's okay. I don't take anything to heart. I've come to learn that the internet's full of expert welders that think they know what they're doing. So everybody's got something to say. Yeah. Yeah. So aluminum MIG, what a lot of people like to do is they like to start right at the beginning of the weld. Don't start it right at the beginning. Start about 2 inches ahead, and when you get that thing started, keep it rolling, and then move back. Hi. Child? What? Be right back. Oh, crap. Okay. Again? Oh, child. I'm fixing your tray. That's what I mean. It's only that switch. Yeah, it's just a switch. Did you go to the other switch? The lights work. Hey, baby. Come on. Well, sorry about that, but I am back. All right, Gavin, I'll catch you later. Anyways, see, there's been a lot of people talking a lot of crap. Well, so I'll run a little bit of 6013, see how it pans out. And FYI, I typically do wear welding caps. It's just, I'm welding on a table in position, so I don't really need one. So now, I'll do some 6013 this time. Turn it up a little bit just for the hell of it. 60 is about as low as I can go with this size rod. So, let's go. $60.13. Do a little bit more $60.13 here. Okay. Now, these have a coating on them, either a galvanized coating or a like aluminized coating. So typically, if you're going to weld these two together for any reason, there's going to be galvanized coating. You're going to want to use 6011 and a lot of heat, or 6010, one of the two. So the most amount of amperage that a 332, 6010, or 6011 can take is about 65 amps, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these two, and tack them together. Yeah, whatever, I'm just doing a demonstration. So now I'll tack the other side. And this is going to be very smoky. Good thing I got a vent. Galvanizing is very smoky. Keep your face out of the plume. Make sure you got a well ventilated area. And yeah. This is going to burn this rod up pretty quick. Makes a big mess. Of course, the sheer amount of heat is bending it out. Let me brush that off. And there you go. Stepping it in. It kind of makes it's not a pretty looking weld, but it'll work. Now if I want to pretty it up a little bit, what I can do is at an even higher range, I can take some 7018 higher. Ready? That's really hot. Oh boy. So I'm running about 75 amps. I'm not making anything, I'm just welding. 75 amps, drag it, let her eat. Yes, sir. Now all that, oh boy, that got hot. That's what happens when you go galvanizing. Be sure not to breathe that. We'll let that cool down a minute. Meanwhile, I'm gonna open the garage. Probably should have done this first. Oh well. There we go. We'll evacuate all this mess. And then look how much prettier that is. Okay? the galvanizing turning into something else. Yes, I did get a new welder. This is a Yes Welder CT 2050. It's an all-in-one unit, does everything. And I'm working on getting another welder as well. Potentially, for testing. So now let me turn this around. I'm going to attempt to run 6013 down through here. Just for the hell of it. Typically you wouldn't run 6013 on something like this. But we're gonna try it anyways, just for fun. 6013 usually runs at the same amperage as 7018 of the same size. So stay up. Okay. .6013 has a ton of slag already, so I'm gonna try it. I may have burned off enough galvanizing already. Actually, you know what? Let me do a full pass of 6011 just to burn the galvanizing off, and then I'll run a pretty pass for 6013 because I want to show you that 6013 can be just as pretty. That fell. Just a little tap. Beautiful. There is another welder. Well, what I should say is there's another welder from another company that I'm looking at testing as well. I am doing a long-term test on this one, the CT 2050. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff with it, so stay tuned. I'll do an update on that later on. So far, so good, I can tell you that much. I can tell you from what I have done so far, it's been very good. And I've done every process. Cutting, stick welding, and TIG welding. I just have not done aluminum yet. All right, so I got 6011 done. The 6011 burns off the galvanized coating, and it'll also lay down a good solid initial pass. 6013, you can really pretty this stuff up. There you go. Well, then why are you looking? If it makes you feel any better, I don't really hold any certifications either. I hold my D11 just for fun. That's it. I'm a certified welding inspector. I do pipeline inspection. Okay. You'll be fine. You'll be okay, I promise. That's like riding a bike, you pick it right back up. Oh, it's just dumb. So I mean, 6013 can still look pretty. People say 6013 is a worthless rod. It's not. It's actually useful for what it's made for. Well, here's the thing about welding certifications, and I can go down a rabbit hole with this. With welding certifications, there are so many out there, depending on what you want to get into. It's just an endless amount. So I've had a lot of people ask me, like, I want to get a welding certification. Can I get certified to weld? I'm like, all right, to weld what? And they look at me like, well, just to weld. I'm like, well, that's not how it works. You've got to get certified in the process. You got to get certified in the material that you're going to weld on. You're going to have to get certified in the position that you're going to weld in. And there's a hierarchy of positions, obviously. You're also going to have to know, get a weld procedure together. Any deviation from that welding procedure, and you have to recertify under something else. Just non-structural work. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to be certified. Honestly, you don't need to be certified to do any of that. Now, if you're going to do stuff that say you want to build a trailer for yourself. If you want to get it qualified to go on the road, depending on the state that you live in, you're going to have to get a qualified and insured welder to build it or prove that you are competent enough. And then you also have to you may have to get it inspected by a certified trailer inspector or whoever. Depends. Like in the state that I'm in, Pennsylvania, if I were the trailers that I'm doing, I have to get them inspected by a shop, and it's like a $400 inspection, and they go through every nook and cranny, and they also want to make sure it is well, the welders, how do I put this? The person that built it is competent. What that means, I don't know. They may just look at the welds and be like, yep, that looks good. And they don't know what they're looking at themselves. Honestly, I could probably open up a trailer inspection business and do pretty good. I'm surprised to see as many people on here as there are. Very happy about that. Years mostly handrails and decorative makes sense for the trailers, and actually that's super. Hey, no problem. Just do the research on the state that you're in and what they require, because the other thing is that you can, now I am not a proponent of this and I'm not necessarily recommending you do this, but what you can do is you can register a home-built trailer in another state that allows it with that state's plate, so long you pay the fee and all that stuff and give it a VIN number and whatnot. That is what I do, and it is 100% legal. It's just kind of like a hoop to jump through, and I don't necessarily recommend it to people all the time because I am not a lawyer. Oh, there was another thing that I wanted to touch on too, and I'll probably do a little short on this. But let me get we'll do a quick quiz. These are main, yes. So these are stick electrodes. This is TIG filler wire. This is E7018. This is ER70S6. Which one's stronger in tensile strength? You think the 7018 is stronger, or do you think the 70S6 is stronger? When welded, obviously. First one. All right. It's a trick question. They are both the same strength. Exactly. We got ER70S6 and E7018. 70S6 is TIG filler wire. 7018 is stick wire. Or stick filler rod. They're the same. I'll explain it. I should get a whiteboard. Okay. Yes, they are the same. Oh, crap. It's all reversed. Can I change that? How do I change that? Anyways. So if you can read backwards, this is the TIG wire. This is the stick wire. These two numbers right here and these two numbers right here, that indicates the tensile strength. So the 70 means 70,000 PSI of tensile strength. 70 here, same thing. That being said, if I were to get 6013, 6013, according to tensile strength, is weaker than the 70S6 TIG filler wire. So if you TIG weld perfectly with ER70S6, that weld should have 70,000 pounds of tensile strength. But like I preach all the time, a weld only needs to be stronger than the base metal. It does not matter how much stronger. So if you're welding on standard steel plate, most of the time, standard steel plate is A36 or A50, if you're lucky. A36 has 36,000 pounds of tensile strength. So no matter if you're making a TIG weld with 70S6, or if you're going to stick weld with 6013, or if you're going to stick weld with 8018, or whatever, the weld is going to be stronger than the base metal. So if you do a tensile break and you just start pulling on a coupon, the base metal is going to break first at roughly, actually it's going to be like 40,000 pounds of tensile strength. 36,000 is the minimum. So, well, so when we have that number of 7018 and it has 70,000 PSI of tensile strength, that's what it's rated to. That's its minimum allowed. So yes, typically speaking, 7018 is going to break somewhere in the 80,000 pound range, 78 to 80,000 PSI. Same thing with 70S6 though. 70S6 is going to do the same thing. It's typically manufactured to break higher. So it's just got to meet that 70,000 PSI in order to get that rating. But like I said, if you're welding A36, doesn't matter. If I make a weld with 6013 and I make a weld with 7018, which weld's stronger? It's a trick question. It doesn't fucking matter. It's stronger than the base metal. That's all that matters. So if anything's going to break first, it's going to be the base metal, regardless of how strong the weld is. Just because it's, you know, twice as strong instead of 1.5 times as strong, it doesn't make a difference. Standard dimension. They usually take a cylinder, a core cylinder out of the weld. I think it's 3/8 diameter. I think is the core diameter that they test typically. That's a welded piece. But that's also why it really bothers me when people say that TIG welding's stronger, or MIG welding's the strongest, or stick welding is strongest, or they pick a process and say that process is the strongest process. It's not. It has nothing to do with the welding process. It has everything to do with the filler metal and the application. If I stick weld with 6010, and then I MIG weld with 70S6, which weld's stronger? There's a lot of variables. First off, 6010. 6010 is a fast freeze rod. It is prone to metal fatigue. 70S6 is very resistant to metal fatigue, but if you're doing short circuit MIG, the penetration is much less. So which one's stronger? Well, it depends on what. Tensile strength, well, 70S6 is going to be stronger. If you're talking about ultimate braking strength, kind of depends on penetration. You mean durable or more flexible? You know what? There's a lot of measurements here. So no one process is better than the other in every way. So when people say like TIG welding is the strongest process, well, no, it's not. Maybe under a particular application, yes. If I'm putting a roll cage together, TIG welding is going to be superior for me personally. Why? Because I have a lot more control of my heat. I do not overheat the metal with TIG as easily. I also get the proper penetration with TIG a little bit easier. If you're trying to do that with stick welding, it's a lot harder to control the amperage. So when I'm doing stick welding and doing all the stuff that I'm doing stick welding, this is stuff you do at home. If I'm doing something for a customer, if I'm going to build a roll cage, hell, I got to do some handlebars for a guy. If I'm doing handlebars, I'm not stick welding that together. No way. I don't have as much control of the heat input. TIG welding is the way to go. Now, MIG welding, I could do that too. It'd be a hell of a lot quicker. But again, I don't have as much control on penetration power as I would with TIG, even though you're using the same exact filler metal. So no one process is better than the other. It all depends on a bunch of things. The other thing about stick welding is I can weld through rust, steel, rust, mill scale, oil, dirt, any of that. Yes, and TIG can have the presentation value, but in all honesty, I can make a really nice looking stick weld on a lot of things, and you wouldn't know the difference. I get people, I've had a couple orders that I had to make. I had to make a fire pit, and it was 1/8 inch steel and some 1.5 inch tubing. And, you know, I stick welded it together. It's just easier for me. You know, I have a MIG gun. I'm going to get rid of it here soon. This is going to be my main and only machine now. But, you know, I just decided I'm going to stick weld it. Why did I decide to stick weld it? Well, it's the process that I am best at. If I'm going to say I've mastered any process, it's going to be SMAW. But also too, I have all the equipment. It's a lot easier for me. It's simpler, and it doesn't take me forever to set up the bottles. I don't run into issues with my MIG gun. You know, TIG welding just takes forever, and you got to clean everything. Stick welding, I can just put the pieces together. I don't have to worry about the mill scale so much. Just go. And when you look at it, look at the welds, you wouldn't know the difference. If you can set it up right, look at it, the majority, I'll say the majority of people, a welder would know the difference, for sure. I'm gonna exit out of this. I gotta get going. I gotta get a shower. I gotta go to bed. I have to get my kids to school tomorrow. I got a project coming up soon. Costa Rica, holy crap. How is it down there right now? Do I use any Harbor Freight equipment? Not really. And the only reason why I don't is because I don't have one close to me. I have. I have in the past, but honestly, so this channel is sponsored by Blue Demon Welding Products. I've used their products for years, and I just like their stuff, and I can order it on Amazon. It's here in 2 days. It's relatively inexpensive. It's qualified stuff. I can get MTRs for all this stuff if I really need to. So it's a lot better. That's one thing about getting welding wire from like hardware stores or Harbor Freight or stuff like that. If you need the paperwork to back it up, you can't get it. Versus the Blue Demon stuff, I can get, if I need to, I can get the paperwork for this, the MTRs that I need, if I'm to do a project that requires me to track all that. Now, I haven't done anything like that in my own shop under my own business. I've done that in the pipeline plenty of times, but we also use Lincoln on the pipeline. We're not allowed to use anything else. That's just how it is. But yeah, as far as, I mean, like I said, I have used it, but not recently. And as far as tools go, my tools are not expensive. For example, to cut steel, that's a Cobalt 7 1/4 inch miter saw with a Steel Demon, a Diablo Steel Demon blade on it. And yes, it cuts steel. Well, I just had a little piece right there that I cut. Makes really nice cuts. I also have a Wen portaband set up on actually that is a Harbor Freight stand. There's a Harbor Freight piece right there. Now, of course, I have a Yes Welder CT 2050. Yes Welder CT 2050 there. That machine does everything. So it's a stick welder, a TIG welder, both AC and DC with pulse settings, and it has its own air compressor with the plasma cutter. So it's an all-in-one unit. It runs on 110 and 220, and hell, you guys just saw me weld with it not that long ago. It does great. Now, I'm doing long-term testing on it to see how well it holds up, but so far, so good. Romney, I might take you up on that. I'm looking to do a vacation here in February at some point, so. Now, as far as hand tools go, I do spend some money on hand tools. That DP200 that's a machine. I remember working on that. So I had the Yes Welder, I still have it. Hold on. This one's going away soon just because I ran out of things to do with it. So I have this is a Yes Welder YWM211P. And that was the predecessor to the DP200. They sent that to me, gosh, 3 years ago now to test and do some videos on and some instructionals on how to use it and stuff like that. And I have beaten the living snot out of that machine for 3 years. I have maxed that thing out. I don't know how many times. I have yet, well, that's a lie. One time I hit thermal overload and it shut down. And I waited 10 minutes and it fired right back up and I went back to running at max again. I've never had a problem. The only thing that I had is that I burned my ground lead up. Now I have since replaced that with some heavier gauge cable and haven't had an issue. Other than that, the thing's been fantastic. I have had zero issues with it at all. I've done pulse with it. I've sprayed with it. All sorts of short circuit. I've TIG welded with it. No problems. That thing's an amazing machine. But I am getting rid of it. I've kind of run out of things to do. I don't have a lot of space. I'm not home as often as I'd like to be to run that machine. So this is going to be my workhorse. Plus, I'm testing the hell out of it right now. So what other equipment do I have? Oh, my drill press. That was a Facebook find. Got it for 50 bucks. Got it for 50 bucks because the drive motor, the electric motor, was burnt out. I had to get another electric motor. It was like a $20 investment. So $70. I got a Sears Craftsman 1 horsepower floor press. And I got a cordless Craftsman grinder. I've got a corded DeWalt grinder that I used to use in the pipeline. That's 11, 12 years old now. Honestly, the most expensive thing I have, and it's not even, I didn't even buy it, it's for my inspection job, is this thing. So this is an MSA 5 gas tester. So since I work for a pipeline company, I have to have a 5 gas meter that detects LEL levels for vapors and stuff like that. And the gas tester itself is like $2,000. This setup, believe it or not, is about $8 grand. Obviously, I didn't spend that, but all that together, an $8,000 setup. I could not believe that. But yeah, that's really about it. I don't have very expensive stuff that I purchase. I stay on the cheaper side, and the only reason why is because I have no reason to buy top-notch equipment because I will never reach its maximum capability. All the machines that I have here, oh, that cobalt, I've beaten the snot out of that cobalt saw. It's already paid for itself. That saw was $100. The blade was 40 bucks. I have cut a ton of metal on that thing, and it's still working. That Weld bandsaw, that's $100. That's been a lifesaver. No problem. The most expensive machine I have in here is the S-Welder that I bought. That was $1,500. Worth its weight in gold. The only reason why I say that is because it's a 7-in-1 unit. It does everything for me. I don't have to have an air compressor in here making all sorts of noise. It can run off of 110. Now, cutting on 110, not really. Hell, I have a video on how I made this bench. So this bench is adjustable. Right now it's down about, 2 spots down from its lowest point. It has an air hover hydraulic ram, and it'll go from 22 inches. It goes down from as low as 22 inches, and it goes as high as about 44 inches. Yeah, about 44 inches. It'll go up right up to my, pretty much up to my waist. So, I did spend a little chunk of change on that Wilton vise. I've had it for a long time. I have to get new jaws on it. That's about it. No, all right. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna be around for the next couple days, so you'll get to see some more work from me. I've got to bring the trailer. I don't know if I'm gonna bring my trailer in or if I'm gonna leave it out there. Oh yeah, my buddy's bike. I have to get that bike from him this winter, put it up on the table because I need to finish the exhaust on it. The exhaust is under there somewhere. I don't know. You can kind of see it. It's still sitting under there. I got to finish it. I'm thinking about cleaning it up and redoing some of the welds because I've gotten a lot better at that than what I was when I started it. Yeah, that's about it for now. I've got the trailer that I got to finish because I need it bad. And then I've also got the go-kart that I need to finish because I need to finish it. I just don't know when I'm going to have the time to do that. Well, anyways, we'll figure that out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm very appreciative of the turnout that I get on these lives. This one was probably one of my better ones. Stay tuned for more stuff. I'll see you later.